And welcome back to the CNC3 Early Morning Show. I'm Hamid Ghani, and this morning for Paulo Kernahan. Well, in this segment of the show, I'm talking to Steve-Maximay, who is the chair of the Trinidad and Tobago Reprographic Rights Organization, and Eleanor Hoyt, who's the chief executive of that organization. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Welcome.
And thank you for being here. We're talking this morning about copyright laws and infringement, and more or less trying to sensitize the public about intellectual property rights, etc. In order to establish this, there is also an organization known as COT, which is the Copyright Organization of Trinidad and Tobago. What's the difference between your organization and COT, just for the benefit of our viewers?
Sure. COT would be the sister organization to the TTRRO, in the sense that they license the print, not print, the music and performed arts. We deal with print and graphic works. So that whereas the copyright holders of music would have their property rights looked after by COT, the rights holders that belong to TTRRO are those with print works, photographic works, etc.
So how long has the organization been in existence? TTRRO?
Well, we were incorporated in 2003, but we effectively got working in 2005.
All right. And in terms of the kind of work that you do, maybe I could ask you, Eleanor,
sure.
what kind of work does the organization do? And for the benefit of our viewers, how do you discharge your responsibilities?
TTRRO is about managing the reprographic rights of our rights holders, the members and affiliates.
And who would be your members? Like
our members are publishers, authors, and all creators of intellectual property. And we also represent reproduction rights organizations nationally and, not nationally, excuse me, internationally, because we are a member of the International Federation of Reproduction Rights Organizations. That is the umbrella organization for all reproduction rights. There are 148 countries, and we are a member, and we have bilateral agreements, which is reciprocal agreements, with 18 of those countries. So we represent them here in Trinidad. We manage the rights in the way that we issue licenses to the users of copyrighted material, graphic works. And that's the educational institutions, mainly, corporate citizens, the copy shops, and anybody else who is using international, using copyrighted materials, photocopying, and we operate under the Copyright Act 1997 as amended in Trinidad and Tobago.
And how do you, do you have like workshops and seminars and so on to disseminate some of the work that you're doing?
Well, we recently held a workshop on October 6th, and invited the principals and librarians and of the major institutions, educational institutions in Trinidad and Tobago, and it was well attended. And we also brought in some of the publishers came, so that we have disseminated the information to them that copyright. We are not against copyright photocopying. We are here to facilitate it under the law and issue licenses for the legal use of copyrighted material.
All right, and Steve, if I could ask you, how does one go about becoming a member of TTRRO?
Well, the membership is open to publishers, authors, photographers, cartographers, because one of the silent leakages in photocopying infringement in Trinidad and Tobago has to do with the illegal copying of maps and charts, and so that there are commercial implications to some of these infringements. I think when people hear about photocopying and people wanting to ban photocopying, there's always this perception that that we're trying to prevent people from copying a book here or copying a book there. I think without seeing the commercial implications of some of these things, we are dealing with property, someone else's property, and we have a difficult time in this country conceptualizing property rights, as I'm sure you know, with tangible property. If we use the analogy with, let's say, predial larceny, it's quite common to hear people saying, well, somebody take a few mangoes, I didn't really nothing, and a fella's trying to eat their food. But if you have an orchard and somebody is pulling up with a pickup and denuding your orchard and moving away with all of it, then clearly people start seeing the difference now that it is really stealing. So that this is the work of people's creativity. And I could well imagine someone sitting down in Tobago right now thinking, with all the problems we are having, why am I concerned about photocopying? What if some creative person in Tobago comes up with a 29-step plan for dealing with tourist compensation, let's say, I mean, just arbitrarily, and wrote a document on that? How would you feel if any tourist destination, somebody in the Pacific, the South Seas, copies that document liberally, goes away with the work of the creativity of someone in Tobago and uses it without responding to the source? What we have in fact set up is the mechanism for your work to be, your rights to be protected, your property rights. If you believe in the concept of property, that there is intellectual property, for it to be protected, in the sense that if someone wants to photocopy a section of that book in the Pacific, there's a reprographic rights organization in the Pacific which would have signed a bilateral with us so that you will get your compensation from the legal copying of your intellectual property.
Well, what kind of fines or penalties are we talking about?
Well, they're onerous. I mean, one has to come to grips with the fact that it is stealing, and the law provides for very, very stiff penalties for infringement. And by definition, we are everyone in tertiary level institutions, all of them are operating now illegally, in the sense that they are not compensating the rights holders for the copying of their works.
Yeah,
all right, well, let's build on that. I'm going to take a break, and when I come back, I'll come to you to talk about that a little more. We'll take a break, and stay with us. We'll be right back.
Carlton Savannah. One night, one ticket, one couple. Bring in the new year with Three Canal and the Alternative Quartet.
Staged by Cherise Parsons.
Choose between hors d'oeuvres and a 5-course a la carte dinner. Spend the night, enjoy breakfast, celebrate with bubbly and a premium bar. Tickets available at the Carlton Savannah. For reservations and information, call 621-5000.
The crime rate is very high, but you can protect your business and home with the most high-tech surveillance on the market. With Stratosphere surveillance systems, you can quickly and easily monitor your business compound and home directly from your computer or cell phone anywhere in the world. With our camera and point-of-sale monitoring systems, you can deter criminals, stop pilfering from your business, enjoy greater profits, and increase productivity. Chain store owners see all your business places at the same time. Also, protect your property with our advanced alarm and fire alarm systems. For on-site visits and appointments, call 645-1106 or 341-7674 for prompt and efficient service.
The Early Morning Show with Paulo Kernahan is brought to you in part by First Citizens. First Citizens, we put you first.
And welcome back to the CNC3 Early Morning Show. Well, we're talking with Steve-Maximay and Eleanor Hoyt from the Trinidad and Tobago Reprographic Rights Organization. And Eleanor, you were about to make a point before we went to the break, because we're talking about penalties. You want to put this in perspective for us, the kinds of figures we're talking about in terms of penalties?
I'd be delighted to do so, because I think people need to be aware of what it entails, what the penalties are for copyright infringement. Under the Copyright Act, the penalty for copyright infringement is $250,000 TT dollars and or 10 years imprisonment for copyright infringement.
And is that for an organization or mainly
for the organization.
The principles of an organization, or an individual who's involved in that?
Well, the law just states that is the penalty for copyright infringement. And the police service is supposed to be the enforcement, some section of it is supposed to be the enforcement unit for dealing with the copyright infringement part of it. So we can't administer this part, but what we can do is make sure that institutions, all institutions, corporate citizens, educational institutions, the government, are in compliance under the law, we can issue the licenses. We have all the licenses prepared, and we have been actually working with the educational institutions, and we have attempted to get in touch with the government public service so that we can issue licenses to them. We have been working on this for the past 3 years, but nothing has been signed as yet. And this is why we are here today, so that we can sensitize the public to what is going on, and we are hoping that the right people are listening at this point in time, so they will know that a license is available.
Right, and one of the things I was just trying to get to find out a little earlier, how does one actually join your organization? Can someone join your organization, or are you just a watchdog organization for the industry in terms of what you do?
No. What we are, in fact, we are responsible for collective management. In the same way that a performer cannot monitor what radio station in New York is using his work, the same way we are responsible to the rights holders. So once you are rights holder, in other words, once you have created a work, not just thought about it, because we don't license ideas, but if you've created a work, whether it's a photographic work, bit of literature, fiction, non-fiction, etc., then you can become a member. But we do have, in fact, 75% of all the publishing capability in the country as members.
But in terms of members, is there a membership form or something?
Yes, there are membership forms which are available, and we have a website.
Is there an annual fee?